What's up, guys? This is cielshock from CTUSA mini4wd drive racing squad. I'm a teacher here in Works.
My name is Vivian. I'm also from Connecticut, mini4wd drive. We are going to talk about
adaptive brake settings.
So Shell went to Canada recently for a race. Unfortunately, I did not go. He will post a track layout later on, and he will show you how he adapted his brake settings to overcome the track layout.
Alright guys, so this is the layout that me and Vivian were talking about. As you can see, there's the starting line over there. I'm gonna help you analyze this track layout that I have over here. It's pretty interesting because there's some tabletops and it looks pretty easy, but it's actually not. So here we go. So we're gonna start from the starting line going to corner, and that green spot over there is a tabletop. Yeah, so that green spot is a tabletop over here. First, you're gonna need a lot of torque to accelerate through those two scores. But as you can see, those two green lines going to the tabletop. The car, when you start the car, it's slow, but if it actually makes it like a whole lap, there's gonna be a lot of momentum. So going through that tabletop, if your brake setting is too low or the brake setting is not trim, or it's too grippy, and there's like a edge and brake, the car might most likely tip on that green portion right there. Later I'm gonna show you what my brake setting looks like, and Vivian will show you how she adjusts his brakes too. But that's the first tabletop. It's the green one. Alright, the red part going there is a quick turn going through the red, and it gonna lands down. The trick with this is it looks easy, but the trick on this, if the car is like too fast and the brake setting is too high, the car won't likely drop to the second or third panel, which is if the car doesn't have a lot of torque, it will not have enough torque to jump to the next slope to pass by this wave. So this wave is pretty tricky if it doesn't land. So if it doesn't land perfectly over the wave over here that entered the circle, the car might get caught to the track wall, or it's basically gonna course out, because it's either it's gonna get course out, or the screws or any part of the car will get caught in the track wall. I'm not saying it's going to be 100% going to get caught, but most likely, I would say 80% or 85% the car will get caught, because it's a wave. It's not a straight line, so there will be drag or any delay if the car gets caught over there. And if you actually have a very low brake setting, it will just not jump the slope, and then it will just gets really slow over there, through the wave, if you decide to not jump over that wave. But the point is, from the down part of the tabletop, you have to have enough torque going through the slope in order for you to land on that part, or enough torque just to be in the middle of that two recovery panel. Because if you have also, if some people over torques and some people doesn't put brakes, or their brake setting are too light, I mean there's not a lot of grip, it's probably gonna overshoot. That's the problem. It's either it's gonna get caught in the wave, or it's gonna overshoot. So remember that. Alright, so you can see the orange part over there, the two orange spots that I put. That's where the part that you're supposed to land. If you trace it with the yellow line over there, that's a curve after you land perfectly on the first orange spot that I square off. There's a curve, and there's a straight in the rainbow change lane. So when you go to the rainbow change lane, the only delay that you will have is going up on that change lane. And that's basically putting your brakes higher enough not to have a little bit delay. But underneath the rainbow change lane, there will be a lot of top speed that comes up that goes your gearing ratio and your wheel settings, and you're gonna be super fast through the straight. The point is be very, very fast through the straight. And then when you jump the slope, your car should have a perfect brake setting, landing on that second orange square that I drew. Because after the orange square, there will be a bank over there. That's a 20-degree bank. So if you like, some people use power dash or a higher motor, I prefer to use sprint dash. That's myself. That's me myself. But the important thing over here is your brake setting, because you will have a lot of air or a lot of speed, because your car's gonna accelerate through that first straight, then do a quick turn, and then another like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, probably 8 straights going through the slope over there, and there's another wave. So the trick is not to land again to the wave, so you don't want to brake too much. So you just need an exact brake setting that you can measure to land on those 2 last panels. You can't land to that green spot, because that green spot is a 20-degree bank. So if you land on that green spot over there on the second orange on top that I squared off, your car will be like hitting the 20-degree bank, and your car might fly off, might bounce, your car might trip, and all that kind of disaster. So the point here is to have that brake setting that will land over there. And also, one more thing that I want to add is, like, I can't specifically really tell you how many millimeters or how many degrees that you have to arc your brakes, or the height of your brakes, or what kind of brakes you're gonna use, because it's really up to you. You're the only one who knows your car, and you're the only one you know how fast your car, how torquey is your car, the momentum of your car, how fast are your motors, and how strong your batteries are. So I don't really have a default brake setting for you guys, but this is me just telling you and how to guide you how to overcome this track layout. And last but not the least, those 2 banks over there, just basically just don't put your brake setting too low, so it won't have a delay. Yeah, so those 2 yellow spots over there, those are 20-degree banks, and it most likely give you delays if your brake setting is too low, and you're also the brake setting that's famous right now, and a well-known brake setting is the long tail setup, and people don't adjust it. Some people don't adjust it because they thought it is a default brake setup. No, it's not. So if you have long tail, it most likely gonna be longer. So when it tilts 20 degrees, the tail will probably touch, and that will give you a delay. And if the front is too low and you put the grippy, it's most likely the gray brakes and the pink brakes, or they call it the red brakes up front. That will cause a lot of delay going up through that bank, going down, even though it's just 20 degrees. So remember, it's the brake height, the type of brake that you're using, and the type of brake setting setup that you will use. It's either long tail, short tail, or the main key is not to be stuck. Your car should be adaptive, and you'll be able to adjust in any kind of track situation or track course. Alright, so I basically break down this track layout and all the critical portions of this track, so you can actually have an overall setup and you can adjust before the race, because in most places the racetrack is posted before the race. So after this clip, there will be a video of my race in Canada, and you'll see how the cars performs in 2 seconds.
Here at B Mall, and there's just one intriguing store that I saw. It's Bobo. Siguro mga Bobo bumibili dyan.
Go! That's 1. Two. Great winner, Kuya Mayo. 2, 1, go!
Go! Last lap! Okay, Kuya Mario again.
Hey, who's the first one? Me? Second. 3, 2, 1, go. Now. Aluin mo ha. 3, 2, 1, go! Three, two, one, go.
Alis ka dyan, Chel!
Parang hyper. Three, two, one, go. Three, two, one, go. Okay. Dito nga ako. Yan. Kayo.
George is getting nervous.
14, 10, and 18.
Who's number 14? Who's number 14? First lane, number 14. Tommy. Second lane, number 10. George of the Jungle.
Bukas na lang.
Bukas ulit?
Alam, may paso ako.
Hindi na? Hindi ka na babalik? Sayang naman.
Meron pang pro ko yan. Ano ba yun?
Ako na susundo.
Hindi. Oh, yun na. Oh. Sundin mo
Sige. Iwanan mo yung gamit ni Kuya. Iwanan mo. Oh, ayan. Babalik.
Pabalik. Yan.
Yan. Alright, come on. Second lane.
Kailangan natin mabilis. Hindi ako uumbre sa dalawa. Let's go, let's go.
Alright, finals. First lane. Oh! Alright, disqualified. First lane, Tommy. Second lane, George. Third lane, Dong. Tune class finals. 3 laps. 3, 2, 1, go. Whoa! 1, 2, 2. Alright, winner, Tommy! Winner, Tommy. But first and second, we race. Second and third, we race.
Oh, doon yun.
Alright. Hey, hey! Come on!
Okay.
Huwag mo na palit ang battery. Embang ka pa. Let's go. Second and third. 3 laps. 3, 2, go. Oh! 1. 2. Last lap. Second place, George. Ano masasabi mo?
George, take a picture.
So what can you say? First place.
Oh my god, unbelievable, eh?
Second place, George. Pati mo yung mga fans mo.
Sayang!
Third place. Alright. There you go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yay! And there's a lot.
We got wheels.
Oh, nice.
Thank you. Of course. Yes, chassis. Then like that.
Yay, thank you.
And the wheels. And $15.
Yay!
Alright, picture.
Stop. 3, 2, 1, go!
Alright, first lane George, second lane team, third lane. 3, 2, 1, go! One. Winner! That's the 4 block. I didn't catch it. No. 3, Ready? Start your car.
3, 2, 1, go!
One. That's George. 2, last lap. That's fine. Winner, George. What happened? What happened?
3, 2, 1, go!
Three, 2, 1, go! Swerte ka, kanina ka pa nananalo ah. Galing talaga oh, nasushoot. Walang underguard. Mabalik lang. Kaso mabagal. Yeah, last lap. Oh, kunin mo! Count! 3, 2, 1, go!
Nangyari. What happened?
Don't you tell me, oh, this guy's so stable.
Oh my god, dog. You witchcraft.
没错，你看展示不 stable 的一面。
You're a witchcraft, dog.
Anybody got a pinion gear?
皮鞋，
Pinion gear.
对啊，很给我。
Purple, please. Nag-request pa.
Oh. Yes, go out.
1 more?
Oh, you know what? I don't have the cover. That's why.
The sticker's the one that fucking make it loose. Fuck the sticker.
The cover is right there.
Oh, you cover. You're lucky it lasted. Shit, I thought I already got the W.
Next race, next race.
Halika na. Ganda kasi ng rollers mo eh. Tapos, sa akin na lang yan eh.
Hindi ko na kailangan. Babagal din yun eh. Kung mabilis.
Eh, inaangat mo pa? Ako kinakat ko eh.
Eh, kaya nasisira yung kapitan. Ay, putang cielshock ko. Pupurks.
Ay, ang gamit mo lang, ano? Tube lang? No, we race.
Oh, we race.
Go, let's go.
Oh shit, I have no dampers. That's why. What the fuck?
Never find out.
I don't know. Shit.
What kind?
Take care.
Take care too.
Three, two, one, go. Winner, Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. One. Two. Last lap. Hadouken! Yay! Winner! Catch it! You always don't catch it. First lane, last lane. What time the lights come on? The lights.
What number am I? An hour? Yeah, about an hour. Okay, I'll take one.
3, 2, 1, go. Last lap. Last lap, George. Oh, re-race! Re-race, re-race. Re-race. Re-race, re-race. Re-race. All right, done.
The cow broke.
That's fine.
That's it?
No, he can still play.
Oh, there you go. He broke it.
He broke the thing.
He cut it. He got a cut to even the aerodynamics. That's what you're talking about. This is science right here. This is what you're talking about. This is Master Jimmy Lou slacking. This is what I'm talking about. Tamiya's life.
4 screens of porn right here. 4 screens.
Shout out to Bryce.
He was playing this game too.
Oh, okay.
Not anymore.
All right.
Change lane?
All right, slackers, let's go.
I'm second now.
3,
No.
2, 1, go. 1. 1. George, last lap. Oh, winner! Grab it! Oh my God, you always watch it. You don't grab it. 3, 2, 1, go.
It's 4, 15, and 20.
3, 2, 1, go. Three, 2, 1, go. Oh! Winner! Hold on. Little damper. George, how am the fuck? Alright, scope up the damper. Let's go. I love the damper again. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, hold on for that. Three, two, one, go. I'm out. I knew it.
So the weakest car won?
Alright, so you guys seen the video of a race from Toronto, and you see how cars are flying off, cars are overshooting, course out, cars are getting caught with that wave. But I'm gonna show you the brake setting, the front brake settings. Vivian's gonna show you later where the she positions her car's brakes, but I'm gonna show you my front brakes. Alright, so I have two cars over here. I have Barcelona 2.0 and Barcelona 3.0. So they're basically two different cars with rear damper and front damper over here. One thing they have in common is the front brakes. Okay, the front brake setting. So as you can see, this one is full with tape because I don't want any brake in front of there. I just want it to be a rear front skid. But this is I can show you the other car. It will tell you how I use brakes. Okay, so this is a popsicle, high-grade popsicle that I use for front brakes. And you guys may ask, why is it beat up? No, that's not the question. Why is it protruding? Okay, as you can see, I use a multi-plate that are custom cut for the BS template, same as the other Barcelona. This one allows me to adjust through track situations. Okay, if I want the car to be longer, a little bit longer, it's at the end, a very last hole of the multi-plate, which makes the car longer. That means the car will brake early compared to a car with the popsicle closer to the body. So this is basically, if you want your brake to bite early, it will be protruding like this, like early when you're approaching a slope. Okay, but if you want your car to be, you want to bite your brake bite to be late, you can adjust it to the second hole. Okay, second hole right there. You can move it over there, and basically your car will be shorter. Okay, you can adjust it through bank approaches, slopes, and any kind of what you call this, any kind of course, like you have the bouncing straights, you also have the tabletops. Okay, but the front brakes really help me a lot because some people think it's all about braking at the rear, but I learned this from Sir Joey in Cavite that it's not all about the rear. It also works. The front braking is also important because some people just make it really, really high up front and then really, really low at the rear. But sometimes you have to make it low up front. Okay? So that's basically how I adjust it. Those 2 points. Because when you are trying to build a car, make sure you don't get stuck. Like one best example is I have another VS chassis over here, which is Storm. I'm not saying Storm is a bad build, but I built this car specifically for torque tune, and I will not put any other motor with this besides stock motor. But I can put atomic and torque tune or rev tune on this car. But this car is pretty much stuck when it comes to its front brake. Why? Because its template is closer to the body. It's closer compared to the other one, and also the brake setting on this one is not adjustable because I cut the front. See, it's cut. The front is cut, so there's no extra holes over there that I can adjust my brakes. So I'm pretty much stuck with this one. I'm not saying this is bad, but you don't want to be stuck as much as possible. All right. So there's the tape because I use black brakes sometimes. So that's how I also adjust with it. But for now, I'm gonna show you how I adjust the positions. Alright, so this one is stuck. I can't move it closer to the body, or I can't move it forward. The car is short to begin with because of the bumperless, but I can't make it longer in other track situation. So I have to adjust in a different way. Unlike these two cars, I can adjust it quickly. Let's say it's not being stable, or it's biting too much when I have brakes over there. That means I can adjust it closer to the body. So that's pretty much it, how I adjust it. As much as possible, I try to build a car that is not stuck on a brake setting like this. Alright? I also have another chassis over here. It's Super 1. And it's also pretty much stuck because I can't adjust it unless I put another plate. But I can put it over here, which is closer to the body, but it will make the car lower. Alright? Okay. So now that you guys see how I adjust the front one, we'll see how we can adapt to the racetrack. As we go here, alright. As you approach the slope, this is how you adjust your brakes. Okay? Because practice is not allowed on some turfs, on some racing centers. In some you are allowed to, but if practice is not allowed, this is how I do it. I push the car like this. So alright, so you see that? Even though there's no brake, especially in tune class, because you're allowed not to have a brake, that's the bite right there. So you can see that your car is already biting on that part because it stops. Alright, if you think that you are braking too early because your car is, there are different situations because your car, let's say your motor is weak, so you don't need to brake early. You want it to brake like late, like where's this? Alright, this one, like this car. So it's closer to the body. You see the difference? When you're running here, see, it brakes late. So the car is already protruding. See, half of the car is already protruding. Like, you can see the difference with the long tail. You can see that? How it bites. And the bite over goes here. See, it bites late. It bites early when it's protruding. So that's how I adjust it. Okay? But sometimes, why I use protruding, because I want it to bite early because my motor is too strong. When you're approaching the bank, you need it to bite early because you guys are going to fly out in the course. So, nobody can really know how your car runs. I can teach you all the setups, all the techniques, all the braking methods or whatever a style of racing I'm doing, but you are the only one who knows or who understands your car more than anybody else. All right? I would love to help people, but still, at the end of the day, you and your car have that, that mutual understanding. All right? So you should know how it dances on the track and how it runs. So that's basically it. When it comes to the height, the grip helps a lot. Vivian will tell you how she adjusts her brakes through how to make it less grippy or whatever. But one thing that I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna pause it for now because I'm gonna set up the bank. Give me a second. Alright, that was a quick one. That's literally a second. But yeah, so this is the bank. This is the most commonly used bank, the 20-degree bank. As you can see, there's only one piece. When you're also braking, that's how you feel. That's how will you know how will you adjust to the height. It depends how, the car bites, the brake bites. As you can see, my height is perfect. It doesn't get caught. It's only my rear brake is getting caught. As you can hear, it's dragging. But the front is perfect. It's perfect. See? It's smooth. It stops here because the rear brake is already hitting. Alright, so the rear brake is already hitting over there. So if I can adjust this and put it over here, or it will make a lesser grip, and the car will be running smoother because it will not hit any brake over here. So the trick with the bank approaches is like not to have a delay as much as possible. You know, you don't need delays as much as possible because that's lessen the car's speed. Sometimes the car is full of torque, it's really fast, but it will still have some delays, or it will end up losing even though it has a higher motor, because if the cores have a lot of bank, it causes delay. But I measured this. Make sure you measure this when you see the banks, and you measure it, like if it's 2 millimeters or even a millimeter, but it's really up to you how will you adjust it. But you will know when it's hitting already. Like this one's hitting, see? It's lower, so it's hitting. That's a delay right there. You can have a little bite, but I use tape, so even though it bites, it's just dragging. It's basically like pushing it, and it's smoother. You know what I mean? So it's less delay. That's the point. And it really depends on the brake height. Number one is the brake height. Number two is what kind of brake you are using. Because we have 3 kinds of brake. We have the green one, the gray one, and the black one, which is the commonly used. And also we have 2 kinds of brakes that would separate pack. It's the blue brakes and the pink brakes, or red brakes. Okay, if you guys wondering what it looks like, I have some over here. That's the green brake. See, I have a blue brake. See, and that's the red one. It looks pink, but they call it the red brake. I don't know why. It's up to me. It's a black, and I don't know if I have grays no more. I think I have no more gray. Right there, I have gray brakes. See? And you also have the double-sided tape, what sometimes I use because Tamiya allows it. Okay, you can use that too. You can use the double adhesive tape, but that's very grippy. Okay, so the brakes are green is the smooth, less grip of them all. Then blue, and then black, and then gray, and then the grippiest one is the red one or the pink one. But you adjust the brakes through its height, its length, its position, and its grip. Alright? So those are the factors in adapting on the track situations. It's the grip. Again, it's the grip. It's the height. It's the length. And the position of the brakes. So those are the 4 things you have to remember. Alright, so, yeah, well, the higher the bank is, the harder for the car to go up. So, I was gonna put the second bank, the 40-degree bank, but it's basically just like that, like when the car runs. So, hope you learned something about that. And now we're gonna show Vivian where she positions her rear brakes and all the tips that she can help you guys. Alright, in 2 seconds.
So shall talk to you guys how to adjust your brakes. I'm gonna talk to you about my car. This is my front brakes, this is my back brakes, my rear brakes. I can adjust my brakes to the middle or closer to the body. Before you race, just make sure all the screws are tight. Also the brakes too. Some people use the trimmer, the micro trimmer, to make sure the brakes are arcs is flat and even, the back and front, so it will not tilt right or left. Some people also use tapes to less the grips. But this is my car, and also it really depends on the track layout too. So I showed you, Shell showed you, and I hope you guys learned a lesson.
Alright, Vivian, thank you, Vivian, for helping us on the positions. And now we're going through the rear part. Okay, so the rear part of the car that people ask is very important. A lot of people ask me about it. But this is the time that I will show you one of my secrets. It's not a secret because a lot of people knows it already. But this is my rear settings. This is one of my favorite car, which is my fastest car, Victoria, my MS chassis, the one that won in New York, if you guys recognize it. A lot of people have this misconception that they should make a long tail brake setting. Okay, this is another one example that this setup is stock. Not saying this car is one of my favorites. Storm is stock. But the brake setting for this car is stock because it's slow, alright? So I don't need to adjust that much. So I have long tail, alright? I'm not saying long tail is bad, but long tail is not always ideal, okay? Why? Number one, in tracks, it all depends on the track situation, alright? So on the video that I showed you in Toronto, and I analyzed the track layout, you have to land further. So again, if you guys watched one of my videos, it's called long tail brake settings, I basically explain, and Migs explained how the car, when it's long tail, it lands further. That's why it's called long tail. All right, it's further. It lands further because it goes. The pitch will be longer and it lands further. That means it can go to like another panel when it lands. So basically, the point of having a long tail, if you watch my video, is for the car to be stable when it lands longer, and also it will have the advantage to like pretty much like jump over a panel. All right, let's say there's a wave or a cut bridge, or you want to land further on a further panel. You know that you will have that advantage. Sa Tagalog yun eh. Sabi namin niluluksong baka. Parang nilulukso ang baka niya yung ano kasi malayo yung landing niya. You have a further landing. Okay? So that's the point of having long tail, but that's not usually ideal because there are different track layouts. Like one example is I have a mini setup of tabletop over here. See, that's a common tabletop scenario. So your car will jump here, and then it needs to land. It should not land. Hold on. Alright, it should not land over here, because if it lands over here, it's gonna hit, or it's gonna shoot out. But you see how far is that? See, that's a pretty much good landing to me. So in this kind of situation, I try to adjust my brakes. But if I'm running atomic tune, which is less torque, this setting is perfect because it's long tail and it's steep. It will basically land over here. On my car, because I know my car, it will land over there on a tabletop like this. So people that doesn't know, a tabletop is a slope, straight panel, slope. Okay? Alright, so for me, if this is the track layout, that kind of tabletop in a straight panel, one recovery tabletop straight panel, I can get away of using atomic tune and a long tail. But let's say you're running hyper. If this car is running hyper, I would probably think it will shoot out, especially if there's like a huge straight from there. It will shoot out over there because the car will be so fast and it will land far. Okay? So here comes cielshock's brake setting. This brake setting I didn't learn from anybody. I learned it myself through racing. I told some people about this brake settings, but some people doesn't believe me, and some people applied it and they won, and some people went on podium. I'm not gonna mention any names, but a lot of people don't get it. Alright, the reason why I have an underguard, some people tells me that underguard is overrated. We don't need underguard or whatever. But me, myself as a racer, I'm paranoid.
I don't want to lose just my car getting caught on the side track. That's why I have the underguard. And also, in our rules, it's a knockout rules. There's no loser's bracket in New York. When I race in New York, there's no such thing as loser's bracket. Okay? So, I want to be safe as much as possible. But there's also one purpose why I have that. Okay? One is I use it for underguard. Two, I can put a brake over there. Like this one. Why? So, having a brake on the underguard, so Vivian showed you, she put brakes at the rear, here, or even in the middle. I can even adjust this plate in the middle, covering the rollers, as long as I have the perfect height. See, I can even put that underneath over here. So, it really depends on the situation, like when the car is not like getting in, like it's not perfectly landing on the spot that you want. But that's the point of having underguard. I learned this when I was racing in New York, and because it's too technical for me. That's why when people say it's, oh, you're crazy, you're racing in a super technical track, like one recovery, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. I'm not trying to be cocky or not trying to be boastful, but I adjust through the track layout. I don't complain about the track layout because that's just how I am. I mean, like, some racers complain about the track layout because they don't want to race it. I basically built a car for a track layout. That's just me because I don't complain. Alright? So, I'll show you one example that people's been complaining about. This kind of tabletop. I experienced this a lot in New York and also in Canada. See, you have this tabletop, and that's a curve. So you're basically supposed to land over here. When your car pitches, you have to land over here perfectly. It's almost impossible. But on a proper brake setting, if you know your car, you can land perfect over here by putting brakes up front and then putting a brake over here at the underguard, or adjust this brakes further, more closer to the body if you don't have another guard. So this one I can adjust at least over here, but not as close as an underguard is. Alright, so that's how I adjust with it. It's simple. It's just simple physics that if your brake bites less when your car bites early, your car will land early. So let's say a long tail, right? A long tail will run. See, because it's called tabletop. You can approach a tabletop. The car will be like this. Will be lifted. So the dampers will go up. It will be like this. So the bite of the brake, that's at the end of the slope. If you guys can see, it will be in the end of the slope. So the bite of the brake is late. It's late. So your car most likely overshoot, especially on that kind of curve. But if you have a brake close to your body using the underguard, while you're running over here, before the car falls, you already, like the brake, see, I can feel it. See, the brake bites over here early. So the car will land closer, not further, because it will basically like bite, drop. This one, bite, drop. Like, it will bite and then drop further more. If you know what I'm saying, like, it's simple physics. Like, I can't really show you while it's not running, but I try as much as I can. But you see the logic on it. So if it bites early, it will drop early. But also, it's not all about the brake. It's on the overall setup. Because some people's like, oh, Shell, I already did it, but it's still not... still not working. It's still overshooting in the tabletop, and then one recovery straight or a tabletop or curve. It's also depends how stiff your dampers are, where your dampers are positioned. Because like, obviously I have two MS cars. Okay, I have this one. Alright, the one that I use in Visionaire. One is a rear damper, and one is a front damper. This one, I have to make it tight, because when it bites, when the brake bites in the underguard, this car have to push it right away. It has to slap back to go down. But it's in the rear, so I have to make it tighter because sometimes the rear got tendency of like having that hang time right there. Okay? At the front, it flops back right away because like the momentum is like, you know, it's easy science. Like the momentum is like that. So it's also, the damper is also a big factor. But if you figure out the brake, especially the position that where you're gonna put it, you'll be golden. Alright, so I never learned this from anybody. I learned it through myself, through experience, because I've been through a lot of track layouts, and it's a bitch. I'm gonna say it, it's a bitch if you can't adjust your car. So I learned where to put the proper positions of the brakes. It depends what kind of brakes too. There's no such thing as default brake setting. It really depends on the track layout and what kind of setup you have in your car. Alright? If you have a different car, obviously a Super 2 brake setting will not work with an MS brake setting. You know, it's different. But as much as possible, you know, I'll teach you guys. Vivian showed you where she put it. Like she can put it here, or on the underguard. And that's pretty much it. Like it bites more when it's closer to the body. So the closer the brake to the body, when it comes to the rear part, it bites more when it comes to tabletops. Okay, when it comes to tabletops. When it comes to regular slope, that's the rear part too. That's how you can determine the landing. Obviously, the closer to the body when it comes to rear, it's land closer. It's not further. When it comes to banks, some people may ask, before I finish this video, when you're approaching a bank, again, there you go. When you're approaching a bank, obviously, the longer your long tail, it bites more too. Because the car is basically longer, and if you tilt the car, this will bite, and it bites early too. Alright? But if your car have a brake closer to the body, it bites late. So, that's how you determine how will you adjust. You have to look at the overall track layout. Again, the overall track layout. Not just the tabletop section, not just the bank section, not the slope section. Overall, streets, curves, bank, tabletops, digicurves, bouncing straights, all in general. Alright? Look at the critical parts of the track. Again, look at the critical parts of the track. And then, that's how you determine your brake settings. Okay? So, it's different when it comes to rear. The rear part, the further the brake is, the longer the brake is, the earlier the bite when it goes up on a bank. Alright? That's different. So, don't be confused with the tabletop setting and the bank settings. So it will affect the overall run of your car in the track. Hope you learned something. I know it's a little bit complicated, because especially for the newbies over there, especially that doesn't have any track experience, but I highly suggest, please, like, test run your cars. Nothing's gonna lose if you test run your cars. Or even though if there's no test run, do what I do. I just like running it. Like, it's not technically like running the car, but like, try to know your car. Try to understand how it runs, and you will know what are the strengths and weaknesses of your car. Okay? And hope you like this video. And if you guys have questions, I have my Facebook. And also I have Instagram. If I don't answer right away, I will try to answer as much as possible, and I will try to help as much as possible, as long as I'm not busy. But that's the brake setting, the adaptive brake setting, and hope you learned something about it. And we're gonna go back to meet myself and Vivian in 2 seconds. Alright, so hope you guys learned something from us. But before we go, I want to say shout out to Jeff, JHT mini4wd drive. He have an eBay account, and he's from Taiwan. You can message him on Facebook, and you can also message him on eBay. He have all your original Tamiya and copy parts. And also, I want to say thank you to Vivian
You're welcome.
Yep. She's also a racer here in Connecticut, and she's also a beach body coach. So anybody who's into fitness, I'm gonna start doing it. Fitness and just want to be sexy, or just like want to get toned this summer, you can add Vivian on Instagram and also add her on Facebook. Like, follow, whatever you want to do. But I'm gonna put all her links down below in the description. Beach body coach Vivian, and I'm also here in New Works. As I always say, we learn from you.
You learn from us.
And always raise humble. Peace. Thank you.